Hi, I am at the Love Pit headquarters today with Goat, and we are going to be working through some crate exercises that you can work on with your dogs that may have a little bit more anxiety or are getting used to the crate. Now, before we even get to this part with our dog, I need you to make sure that you understand some really key foundational concepts. The energy of the dog that you're putting in the kennel, where the kennel is located, all of this sorts of things to make sure all of the things that we can control or influence prior to putting the dog in the kennel is really understood and really intentionally met before we even get to actually working on the exercise, because you're going to hear me say a lot of the times in a lot of different aspects that everything in a dog's world is interconnected, and how you have lived with them for the previous 24 hours and how their environment is that they are in all impacts how they feel about the kennel and how they respond. So make sure you go check out the digital resource and really read through and have a really solid understanding in that forefront before you just try the actual exercise. Now with Goat is definitely a more anxious dog. He's a tiny guy, 30 pounds, but small dogs are still dogs, and so we have to meet their needs just like we meet the needs of a larger dog. Now the great thing about Goat is he's not super destructive, so we can use a wire kennel. If he were really destructive, we'd be putting him in a heavier duty kennel. Fortunately, he is fantastic in terms of not trying to bust out. We mainly just get this energy from him where he's whining and where he's resistant to go in. So that's what we're going to be working on today. There are a couple different exercises that we can use with a kennel that has multiple doors. So I'll show you a little bit of what that looks like, but I know that that's not always the case. Most kennels only have one entrance and exit, so that's where we're going to be pouring in our focus. But I still want to make sure you have different options to work on helping your dog build a really good relationship with the kennel. Now, the one thing that you're not going to see from me today is using treats. I don't want to lure the dog in, that's not my goal. Very easily we could bring in food or we could bring in treats, throw it in and work on an exercise like that. However, I want his relationship with the kennel to be really solid, not just like, oh, there's treats, I need to go in there because he wants the food. I also want him to build trust with me that I'm putting him in a safe space where it's okay. And so all of that is where I'm going to pour my intentions and focus on instead of trying to use treats. If you're really struggling with the dog and even this exercise is not something that's obtainable for you and your dog, you can definitely begin with treats or food, but definitely want to wean off of that. The first thing you're going to need is you're going to need a leash of some sort. You can use a slip leash, which is what I'm using with Goat today, or you can use a clip leash to a martingale collar. You do not want to use a flat collar because in this exercise, if they are resistant to going in the kennel, they're very easily able to back out of that collar. We want a martingale collar where if there's tension applied with the leash, it cinches, he can't back out of it, can't escape or run away, the collar is going to stay attached and that pressure can still be, or that tension on the leash can still be held. You need obviously a crate, other options, obviously whatever you want to have inside. If they're destructive in the kennel, maybe you have a heavier duty bed. If they're not, blankets, a soft bed. Sometimes I use kennel covers over the kennels to really create that den-like environment. And then outside of the room, all of the other sorts of things, but those are not needed for this specific exercise. Again, check out that resource that's available online as well. That gives you a little bit more options and discusses some things to really support that calmness in the crate. Now, before we go into this exercise, we did go out on a walk already, so that energy that we're putting into the kennel is really important. I needed to drain the tank and his mental capacity and help bring down the anxiety level just a bit. So we went on a little confidence building walk using a long line. We did some different pacing, so we had moments where we we're going really fast because I got on a scooter, or we had moments where we were going really slow and being patient and methodical about where our movements are, slowing down and stopping when we jumped up on something, or just slowing down the pace of our walk. So all of that in all helps create a little bit mellower of a mind to really begin working this with. We don't want to throw a high energy crazy dog in the kennel, because then we are going to be expecting a little bit more of some resistance and some frustration, because they have energy that needs to be released. So him being able to already settle tells me that he's ready to be in that mind space, but we want him to rest in the kennel and feel good about the kennel. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to shift my body to face the kennel. Where I want him to go, I'm also going to go, and we're going to walk together. Kennel, you can see that he's resistant. I'm going to hold a little bit of tension on the leash. Kennel. Yes, good boy. I'm going to wait and have him hold in the kennel. Good job. Yes. You can have him wait in there a little bit. Good boy. Let's go, kennel. Just a little bit of tension. It doesn't need to be a whole lot. We're not trying to out-muscle the dog. And just hold that tension there. We don't want to loosen the tension and then regain it, loosen and regain. We want to hold consistent tension on the leash to communicate what we're actually asking him to do. Kennel. Let's go. That's good. Let's go. Kennel. Yes. Nope. Good boy. So you can use the door and use your body to block him. Now obviously he kind of just is like, oh, that's a lot whenever I use my body. So you can use the kennel door. We're not trying to get all crazy, slam it in their face and be aggressive with it, but we're trying to set the boundary of like, no, you're not coming back out yet. I'm about to invite you back out. Shh. He does not get to step out on his own. I'm going to invite him out. Good boy. Good job. Let's go. Nope. Come on. Yes, good dog. Shh. Good choice. Good boy, yes. Good job. So even though he struggled a little bit more, was really hesitant, wanted to walk away from it in flight, I had to stay calm myself, and so that's part of your That's okay. Let's go, kiddo. Yes. Kennel. Yes. Good boy. So whenever I turned and the gate was open, he read that as like, okay, now we're moving out. He's learning that he is the one that gets to release the tension. Me holding it really calmly and tight the entire time until he moves, that is what he's learning from. He's learning that when he steps forward into the kennel, the tension stops and releases, and he's no longer in that uncomfortable feeling. And so then we want to immediately follow up with praise, good job, good choice, whichever one you want to do. But you don't want to get really overexcited because, again, we're trying to put a calm dog in the kennel. And so the whole point of this first exercise is just building up that motivation to go in on their own. So them making the choice to go in on their own. So what you're looking for with those repetitions of going in the kennel, coming back out, going in the kennel, coming back out, is that the tension on the leash is getting looser and looser every time, and they're making that decision to go in. Once you get to a point where they're making the decision to go in, then you can call it quits, call it good, take off the leash, close the door, and build up from there. So we're going to do it 1 or 2 more times. Good job. Come on, let's go. Yes, good job. Hold and be calm. Good job. Dogs have an opposition reflex. Wherever pressure is applied, they're going to do the opposite. So when we close the door or step in, they want to back up or give space. Yes. And last time, you saw in that last one, he did really good. Kennel. Now I'm going to jinx it. It's okay. Let's go, Kennel. Good boy. Yes. Good job. Shh. Good boy. Yes. Shh. Yes. Good. Good job. So when you have, and you don't have to look for perfection. We're not looking for the time when they walk in the kennel where there's absolute zero tension on leash. We're just looking for them to be 1% better than where we started at the very least, where they're making most of the choice to go in, or they're agreeing with what we're asking. They're not wanting to fight. So if he's trying to step forward before I take off the leash, I'm going to close the door, keep it back in there so that I can take the leash off while he's still in the kennel. Just because the leash comes off doesn't mean you get to come right back out. Good. And then we lock it. You can say good boy or good choice or one thing before you walk away. But we don't want to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll be back. You don't want to have that energy towards him. You want, or your dog, you want to have a really calm, confident energy whenever you're walking away so that they know you're leaving them in a safe spot and that energy can just flow between you guys. And it's not like, oh, human doesn't want to leave me in here, human's anxious, and now I don't want to be in here, I'm going to be anxious because human doesn't feel good about this either. We want to have that confidence with the kennel. So once they're here, that's when I would walk away, turn the lights off, kind of let them be. He is going to whine a little bit, but he normally can calm himself down. I would like to assume or think that since we've done a little bit more of mental taxing activities, going out on the walk and then now with the kennel exercises, that we're going to hopefully see a reduced amount of time that he's whining. And even now you can see he's wanting to settle, he's laying down. Sometimes that's not the case, and he's definitely like at the front of the kennel sitting up or even standing because he's uncomfortable or doesn't want to be in there. So normally 15 minutes from now, he's like chilled out and sleeping. That's what we're gonna look for and hope for. That's the sign that we're starting to build that really good relationship with the kennel, and also all of those things from before. Okay, so I'm going to try and give you a better view of what that actual walking in with attention looks like. Let's go, kennel. Kennel. Patience is key. Let's go. Good job. Shh. Yes. Hand signals go a long way. Showing where I want him to go by moving my hand forward. Stop because I don't want him to go forward. That's body language, and dogs definitely pick up on that a little bit, or really well. Yes, come. Good job, good choice. This way, kennel. No. We're not fighting, we're not tugging. Yes, good job. Easy. Good. Obviously, you might have a bigger, stronger dog. It's really about your energy and what you've done before. If you are trying to put a crazy, hectic dog in the kennel, stop working on the kennel exercises and go out and do something. If you have done something and they're still a little bit more resistant and really putting that tension on the leash, breathe. You need to relax. You need to hold that consistency. Again, we're not trying to outmuscle the dog, but we're just trying to guide them. So really making sure your calm is going to keep them calm. The second that you start fussing with the dog, it's over. You've lost that training session or that moment to teach because you didn't even reach their brain. Let's go. Yes, good boy. Good job. Easy. Good job.